I took some courses in college and I learned every aspect of the graphic design, how to deal with Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere. I was very honed in all the software and very intrigued by it. I'll spend nights studying tutorials, learning new tricks, learning how to edit and make album covers, and learning how everything was made. So then after that, I set out my quest. I wanted to know how things was designed, what types of textures, what types of inks. You know, is it plaster salt ink? Is it water based ink? You know. Then after that, I wanted to learn how the process was created. You know, it was pretty much silk screening, heat press. But what I had discovered in my house was that I could create plaster salt transfers, which could be later used. I used this as a pivot as I was entering into the silkscreen world to be able to gain more information. When I started my clothing line, the name of my line was called Amina Fashion. It was named after my mother. I looked at her as a strong individual, a strong black woman that kind of raised me the best way that she could, and I wanted my clothing line to have the integrity of that. Amina Fashion. Designed my first logo. I don't know how it came about, but it just came about. The symbol just was so unique. I wanted my clothing line to stand for something, so I lined it with black, pro-black, political, strong things. You know, to give it a little air, to wake people up, to bring a consciousness. After my logos and everything was done, it was time for me to start my grind. So I had like 3 logos and I had 3 bangers. One of them was my Benz. It's not where you from, it's where you been. A design created by me and my cousin, a collaboration. He was a painter. And he had these faces, and these faces was ill. It's not where you from, it's where you been. Then I had this other t-shirt. It was called the Hood Oath. It was probably the fundamentals that I felt that was missing in the streets. So I put those into a... This design was called I Love My Hood. I wanted to show appreciation from where I came from. The things that made me, the core, everything that gave me the inspiration to grind. After these were set out, what I did was I hit the streets, and I hit every borough, I hit every shopping center, and I just branded my logo. And I made sure that everybody knew who I was. I put it in different stores. I put it in the mom and pop stores, the African t-shirts. I even went to the high-end stores, and I tried to get my stuff put in there. And that was the beginning of my grind. There was no place that I wouldn't be. From North Carolina to South Carolina to VA, even places overseas. I made sure that I was able to meet people and network. After we hit all the stores, high end and low end, me and my cousin, we decided to do this. We decided to guerrilla market the whole game because we was running into a problem. A lot of places we was leaving consignment with, when we came back, the managers wasn't there. So we was having trouble collecting our money. So what we did was we packed our bags full of merch and we hit every borough, bags in hands, and we started selling our merch hand in hand. You'd be surprised how people support a grinding artist. It was there, the movement. We was making a little bit of motion, a little bit of movement and stuff like that. So then what happens is that I get a call. It's from these other guys, very rich guys, and they heard about me. And they want to kind of finance my whole movement, and they want to become partners with me. This is when the grind gets thick. I think I'm about to get rich. Every morning a limo is coming to pick me up, and we're working on production, and I'm sitting down and I'm designing. So what they tell me is this. They said, we're going to do a test run. What we need is a couple of products. I got a couple of products lined up. So what we did was we tried to be independent. He bought most of all the machineries, and we put them in the basement of one of his factories. Started grinding. I set up a whole project, labels, hand tags, everything. I even had a route, everybody that wanted this stuff. So we boxed up everything and had everything ready. All of a sudden, no ride. What's going on? I'm calling. No ride. I get down to the office. These guys booted out on me. Left me like a rapper with an album on the shelf. They said that it wasn't no money in it. How's no money in it? We supposed to guerrilla market this thing. I've been making money. They snatched me off the streets into the corporate world to just put me on ice. I was furious. Hit the grind again. Me and Getter. This time we had music to back us. We put him in the studio and Getter was doing his thing. He had the movement. One of the guards, Shy Guard to be exact, I was locked up with him a couple of years back, and I ran into him at the train station, and he saw me. He was very surprised because he saw me with a bag full of t-shirts. These are the t-shirts I spoke about up north, so he was intrigued by how I really went through and really manifested all the designs that I was talking about. He put me on. He gave me his math. Later on, we met up in Brooklyn. He had a couple of little situations lined up. He had some stores. He was the first one to put me right in the store. So now I had to do this. I had to say my independent grind versus me being stable. It was a good learning experience, but the grind continues.